أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. We seek the protection of God from Shaitan, who has been expelled from God's kingdom of special grace and mercy because of his arrogance and defiance. If we avoid the satanic habit of arrogance, whatever we know to be true and righteous by the guidance of the God-given intellect, the guidance of divine revelation, the guidance of the human conscience, we submit to that truth. And if we avoid the satanic habit of defiance, whatever we know to be evil and wrong and false by the guidance of the divine intellect and divine revelation and human conscience, we don't commit that evil defiantly. And if we have reliance on God, definitely we'll get the enlightenment to be able to distinguish what is satanic thoughts and feelings versus what is divinely inspired thoughts and feelings. And we'll get the strength to be able to say no to evil and yes to whatever is good. And we'll get the strength and determination then to carry out our duty to God. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. We humbly seek the grace and guidance from God because He is Allah, the absolute perfect being. Nobody can achieve any goodness or perfection until and unless Allah wills it so. Everything in the universe is a manifestation of His perfection. And we ask for His grace and guidance because He is Rahman. Moment by moment, His mercy overflows and reaches out to every entity, brings it to life, sustains it, enables it to reach its goal of creation. And we seek His grace and guidance because He is Rahim. His extra love, special care, reward, support, success in the dunya, and the everlasting, eternal, unending, unimaginable bounties and blessings and reward in the akhirah. They are reserved specifically for those amongst us who believe in Him and who follow His commands. Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalam ala sayyidina wa nabiyyina Muhammad wa alihi al-tahirin. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. We send our salutations, our greetings, our deepest respect, an expression of loyalty and love for the Holy Prophet, for all messengers, but ultimately for the Holy Prophet, the last and the best messenger, the one who understood God in the best manner possible for any human being, who God is, what His beautiful names are, how is He governing the universe, what is His plan for the universe, and how to connect to Him, and how to submit to Him, and how to receive grace from Him and then share it and transfer it to mankind. And we send our salutations and greetings on His holy progeny who are the next best after Him. Respected elders, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. The Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, in the month of Muharram, when the 10th day would arrive, their state would change. The 8th holy Imam, Alidina, says, كان أبي إذا دخل شهر المحرم لا يرى ضاحكا. My father, remember this. This is what our household tradition was. My father, the moment the month of Muharram would arrive, you would never see him smiling or laughing. The Ahlul Bayt brought up their children in that way. And then Imam alayhi salam says, وَكَانَتِ الْكَآبَةُ تَغْلِبُ عَلَيْهِ. Not only would he not smile or laugh, so he was serious. No, in addition to that, sadness overwhelmed him in the month of Muharram. حتى تمضي 10 أيام, till 10 days would pass. This was continuous. فإذا كان يوم العاشر, when the 10th day would arrive, كان ذلك اليوم يوم مصيبة وحزنه وبكائه. On the 10th day he would break down in tears, in weeping, in musibah, in intense grief. And he would say, وَيَقُولُ هُوَ الْيَوْمُ الَّذِي قُتِلَ فِيهِ Hussein. This is the day when Hussein ﷺ was killed. This eve of Ashura, therefore, as a preparation for the next day, also the Ahlul Bayt alayhimu salam, and therefore the living awaited Imam Ajallahu Farajah would also be in a state of intense grief. If we turn our attention to the crucial change that occurred on the eve of Ashura, Shimr comes forward to offer his immunity and protection to the relatives of Hazrat Abbas, because Hazrat Abbas's mother was somehow related to Shimr's tribe. So he came and shouted outside the tent of Imam Hussein, أَيْنَ بَنُو أُخْتِنَا? Where are the children of our sister? Sister meaning the mother of Hazrat Abbas. So where is Ja'far and Uthman and Abbas, the brothers, the sons of al-Banin? They replied back to him, لَعَنَكَ اللَّهُ وَلَعَنَ أَمَانَكَ. May God curse this immunity and protection that you're offering us. We won't be tempted. We know we are going to face death, but we won't be tempted. أَتُؤْمِنُنَا وَابْنُ رَسُولِ اللَّهِ لَا أَمَانَ لَهُ. What sort of immunity is this when, because of tribal connection, you're protecting us, but you don't understand more important than the tribal connection is the spiritual connection to the Prophet. The Prophet's grandson is here. Imam ﷺ makes attempts for peace and non-hostility and reconciliation. Has a one-to-one dialogue with Umar ibn Sa'ad ibn Abi Waqqas. But it fails. Incidentally, on the 9th, on the evening of the night before sunset, it was a Thursday, Umar ibn Sa'ad gives orders to his army to begin the attack. He, as the commander-in-chief in Karbala, says, Ya khayl Allah irkabi, O the army of God, God forbid, mount your horses, wabil jannati abshiri, and be glad with the promise of Jannah if you attack Hussein. Amazing. Incidentally, these exact words were spoken by the Prophet ﷺ in one of his previous battles when he was encouraging and motivating and summoning the Muslims to launch the attack. Abbas ﷺ immediately comes and reports to Imam ﷺ that the enemy is approaching. Imam ﷺ tells Abbas, Irkab bi nafsi anta ya akhi. Immediately go and encounter them, ask them what's happening. Abbas with a group of 20, including Habib bin Madahir and Zuhair bin Qayn al-Bajali. Remember, these are the commanders of the right flank, left flank, and Abbas of the central. All of them, they come forward and they can encounter this attacking group. We have received new orders from the Amir in Kufa. We have to start the attack now. Surrender or be ready to die. Abbas ﷺ says, wait, let me go and consult with my Amir. So the other companions, the remaining 20, stay there and try to engage in dialogue and admonishment and warning and reminders. But Abbas comes back to Imam ﷺ and reports to him. Imam realizes this is the final, ultimate encounter which is unavoidable now. Every attempt to bring reconciliation and stop the hostility and aggression is so it's a time to die, whether now or in the next few moments, next few hours, in the next day. There's only one request he makes, and this is the key. that key which explains to us the secret of success of Imam and his followers. Imam says to Abbas, إن استطعت أن تؤخرهم إلى غداة لعلنا نصلي لربنا الليلة وندعوه ونستغفره. Abbas, go and make a request from them. Tell them, give us the respite of just this one night. Tomorrow morning we can have the encounter. I want to pray to my Lord this night. I want to spend the last night in my life making salah to my Lord, making dua to my Lord, making istighfar. فهو يعلم, my Lord knows, أني كنت أحب الصلاة وتلاوة كتابه وكثرة دعائه والاستغفار. My Lord knows it has been my regular spiritual habit in life that I always engage in salah, that I always recite his holy book, that I always frequently pray to him, that I always ask for forgiveness. And these are the last things I want to remember doing in this dunya before I leave. Abbas comes back and tells them, this is the request made by Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Surrender or die, they said. Sorry, this request cannot be granted. There seems to have been a disagreement emerging from amongst the lower commanders. One of them, Amr bin Hajjaj Zubaydi, incidentally was the one who also wrote a letter to Imam alayhi salam from Kufa when Imam was stationed in Mecca. He says, well, what is the problem of granting him respite? Wallahi, my God, if the Dainam Kuffar had requested you such a request for one night, you would have granted it. Why don't you want to grant it to the grandson of the Prophet? Qais bin Ash'ath said that, let's accept it. What difference does it make whether they fight with us tonight or they fight with us tomorrow? If they don't surrender, we'll kill them all. Very arrogant, very proud. But at least some respite they were willing to grant. Very important. Should we get a chance in life to make a final assessment before death, we should always look for it. You know, there's a beautiful dua. Allahumma inni as'aluka al-tawbata qabla al-maut wal-maghfirata ba'da al-maut but wal-raha 'inda al-maut. Oh Lord, give me that respite before death, so that I may make my final provisions. I have to make a wasiyah, I have to... Imam alayhi salam has to explain to the Ahlul Bayt, the women and the children, what is awaiting them and what is required of them and what should they do, so that they don't swerve away from that holy mission and goal for which he brought them despite all the advice against bringing them. He had to ensure that after him they carried out his mission forth. That last night, Imam alayhi salam would once again test his companions for their commitment and resolution to confront the enemy to death. That last night would be a night where Imam alayhi salam would still continue the last possible efforts to try to win over some, or no, to give time to some over the other side, that whatever decision you may have made, whatever thinking that you may have thought that these people's motives may be good, but they've shown their evil, beastly, brutal nature now. They're evil, this army. Some people may have been deceived, hurt, changed after this night. This night is very important. It saves people from eternal damnation. Essentially, you look at the lives of all the Imams, alayhimussalam, all the holy messengers. There comes a stage in their life where they see that the community to which they have been sent has reached a point of not being able to be saved anymore. These are heavenly spiritual beings. They're sent down to the earth from the world of light. They come here to save this world of darkness. But when the darkness is dominant and overwhelming, and there's simply no chance now for any heart or mind to be saved and changed, then this heavenly being says, I want to go back to where I came from. This is that night. Quran, Why recitation of the Quran? In Surah Ibrahim, Allah says, we have sent down this Quran to you. لِتُخْرِجَ النَّاسِ مِنَ الظُّلُمَاتِ إِلَى النُّورِ. This Quran is a means sent from the world of light, from the source of light, enlightenment, goodness, virtue, perfection. That source has sent this message in order to enlighten the hearts and minds and bring them to their Lord. This is the Quran which connects us back to our Lord. And therefore Imam Hussain alayhi salam wants to engage in the recitation of the Quran. That famous hadith of Thaqalain, that I leave behind Kitab Allah wa itrati. In some of the versions, the extra explanation of Kitab Allah is given as Hablullah. It is the rope of God. Rope of God is a metaphor. When you have sunken down or fallen down into the darkness of a well and you want to save yourself, any rope which is dangling, you hold on to it and you want to lift yourself up. Literally every surah that you recite is one lift for us up, away from the darkness of the depth of the well of materialism in the animal world. Imam alayhi salam wanted to recite the Quran on this last night. Salah. Salah, there are many effects of Salah in the very hadith, those few hadith which have been reported by Imam Hussain alayhi salam from the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi. One of the descriptions of Salah is, if I can put it in one phrase, the whole hadith, two-line statement, I put it in one phrase. Salah is the fire extinguisher. All of us commit sins during the daytime, during our day or night time. Salah becomes that opportunity for us to reconnect through forgiveness to the Lord, who can send down His mercy and extinguish the fire that we've lit for ourselves. Salah, in another hadith which Imam alayhi salam himself reports from the Prophet, is the repeller of the devil. The devil tries and attempts to misguide everything. The one shield and protection we have against the devil is Salah. These last moments remaining in my life, and tomorrow I will go and confront, there's every possibility Shaitan will make all his efforts to stop me, to weaken my resolve, to bring fear in my heart, to make me lose confidence, to discourage me. But I need the protection and the shield and the strength of Salah. So this night is very important. But in order to appreciate that, notice Imam alayhi salam doesn't say, give me the respite of this night so that I engage in salah and recitation of the Quran and dua and istighfar. He says, so that we engage in this. It's not him only. The whole group of the companions, all of them did it. The reporter says, I swear on this night, if you were to walk outside the tents of these people, لَهُمْ لَوِيٌّ كَدَوِيِّ النَّحْلِ, you would have seen like the humming of the bees. There was noise coming out from these tents. They were busy in ibadah. They were not in this world. They were back with their Lord. Very important this night. Absolutely. Who are these companions? Imam alayhi salam tests them. There is that famous khutbah reported by Imam Zainul Abidin alayhi salam. I was sick in my tent, but I came near the tent where Imam was addressing the companions, and I overheard. He said, Allahumma inni ahmaduka ala an akramtana bin nubuwwah. This is the last night we are meeting. I praise the Lord that He has honored us with nubuwwah. We belong to the Ahl Bayt of the nubuwwah. Wa 'allamtana al-Quran. So you have made the right decision, as if to say to the companions, that you have made the right decision in joining this camp, because this is the camp related to nubuwwah, not the opposite camp. وَعَلَّمْتَنَا الْقُرْآنِ. Wallah, we thank you for the honor that you taught us the deeper meaning of the Quran. These people claim to be reading the Quran, but they don't know the meaning of the Quran. وَفَقَّهْتَنَا فِي الدِّينِ. And you gave us that deep understanding of what is your law, your teachings and the deen, which is central. centralized on the concept of wilayah and accepting the right authority appointed by God, which you companions have understood, the enemy hasn't. وَجَعَلْتَ لَنَا أَسْمَاعًا وَأَبْصَارًا وَأَفْئِدَةً فَجْعَلْنَا مِنَ الشَّاكِرِينَ. And we thank you. You gave us all the means possible to find the truth. You gave us eyes and ears and a heart which is curious, seeking the truth, and not satisfied till it finds the truth. فَجَعَلْنَا مِنَ الشَّاكِرِينَ. Oh Allah, give us the sense of gratitude for all this ni'mah that you have given us. Of all the ni'mah, the Imams ﷺ always emphasize the biggest and the most important ni'mah is the ni'mah of deen. In Surah Inshirah, in Surah Duha, which is connected to Inshirah. وَأَمَّا بِنِعْمَةِ رَبِّكَ فَحَدِّثْ. And whatever ni'mah that Allah has given you, express it. In the tafsir of this ni'mah isn't every ni'mah, especially the physical ni'mah. More important is the spiritual ni'mah, which is the deen. So Imam alayhi salam in this final night khutbah emphasizes that. And then he says, أَمَّا بَعْدْ فَإِنِّي لَا أَعْلَمُ أَصْحَابًا أَوْفَى. I know of no companions who are more loyal وَلَا خَيْرًا, and more virtuous min أَصْحَابِي, more than you companions. وَلَا أَهْلَ بَيْتٍ أَبَرَّ وَأَوْصَلَ مِنْ أَهْلِ بَيْتِي. And there is no members of a household and family more loyal and committed and devoted than my own Ahl Bayt who are here. These youths of Bani Hashim, all of them have devoted themselves. فَجَزَاكُمُ اللَّهُ عَنِّي خَيْرًا. Up until this point, right from Medina to Makkah, back to on our movement to Kufa, and now our diversion to Karbala, all of you have been loyal to me. So now, I give you a chance. Let me explain to you what is going to happen tomorrow. أَلَا وَإِنِّي لَا أَظُنُّ يَوْمًا لَنَا مِنْ هَؤُلَاءِ. I'm telling you, this is the last night. Tomorrow is the last day. There is no hope for life anymore. إِنِّي قَدْ أَذِنْتُ لَكُمْ. I give you permission, فَانْطَلِقُوا. You can go away, all of you. Go back to wherever is your safety. لَيْسَ عَلَيْكُمْ حَرَجْ وَلَا ذِمَامٍ. I lift any obligations that you may have had towards me. It's very important what was happening here. You must appreciate that throughout history, one of the biggest challenges that the messengers have faced is companions. They don't have enough companions. Nuh alayhi salam had very few people who came on the ark. Ibrahim was a lone man who was thrown into the fire. Musa, 70 companions he took there, and all of them collapsed in Tur. Isa, few Hawariyin, the disciples. The Prophet ﷺ, in the battle of Uhud, mentioned in Surah Ali Imran, in the battle of Ahzab, Surah Ahzab, and in Surah Tawbah, and in Surah Munafiqeen, there is condemnation of companions who waver, who hesitate, who are failing in their duty to follow the righteous leader. This is a common problem. After the Prophet, Imam Ali alayhi salam, yes, for a few battles he got companions, but after the battle of Nahrawan, when he wanted to re-engage with Muawiyah and he tries to mobilize, the Kufans refuse. And Imam alayhi salam, in intense regret, complains, "What are you? Are you ghosts or men? Don't you see an enemy? If we leave him alone, he is going to gobble up the whole of the Muslim empire. We have to stop him right now. It is for our own benefit." They did respond to him. Imam, in frustration, in exasperation, the last few days of his life, he dies, or he is killed. Imam Hassan alayhi salam, abandoned by his companions. And the Imams after Imam Hussein alayhi salam, there's one man who came from Khurasan to the sixth holy Imam. The mazhab of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam had spread wide during the time of Imam Baqir Imam Salih alayhi salam. So this man comes and says, Ya Rasulullah, you should mobilize your followers and take up the government and establish the righteous, godly government of divine justice. So Imam says, but where are the followers? Oh, there are many followers, thousands. Imam says, thousands? No, hundreds of thousands. Imam says, hundreds of thousands. Imam is silent. Then he says, I'm going for a trip. I have to visit one of my farms. You can join me if you want. We left together. And we reached a point where it was time for prayers. And he says, no, this type of earth is not good. It's makruh to pray here. Let's go and pray somewhere else. And then we stopped near the place. We prayed. And then Imam made a comment. He says, do you see that flock of sheep? If I had as many followers as in that flock of sheep, it would be haram for me not to make an uprising. And we continued. I looked back and I counted. There were less than 20. Subsequent, after Imam Salih alayhi salam, the same problem, till the awaited Savior, and he awaits 313. These companions who were there with Imam Hussein alayhi salam were unique, absolutely, historically unique. From the first Adam till the end, we are awaiting similar companions. And therefore, you see in the ziyarat, the way we are taught to respect them. Almost every ziyarah has some mention of the ashab. You start the ziyarah of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, then you make ziyarah of Ali Akbar, and then you go to the ashab and then Abbas. So for example, the ziyarah of the month of Rajab, first Rajab, middle Rajab, Sha'ban. Assalamu alaikum ya ansar Allah. Isa alayhi salam says, Man ansari ilallah, who will be there to support me in the way of God? We send our salutations on you, the helpers of God. Oh, God doesn't need help. It is the help to the deen of God, to the message of God. Assalamu alaikum ya ansar Rasuli, wa ansar Ali, wa ansar Fatima, wa ansar al-Hasan, wa ansar al-Hussein, wa ansar al-Islam. That's the ziyarah we make. Ashhadu laqad nasahtum. We testify that you did your best to serve God. وَجَاهَدْتُمْ فِي سَبِيلِهِ, and you struggled and you gave up your life in the way of God. فَجَزَاكُمُ اللَّهُ مِنَ الْإِسْلَامِ وَأَهْلِهِ أَفْضَلَ الْجَزَاءِ وَفُزْتُمْ وَاللَّهِ فَوْزًا عَظِيمًا. And then finally, and that's the lesson for us, يَا لَيْتَنِي كُنْتُ مَعَكُمْ فَأَفُوزَ فَوْزًا عَظِيمًا. Question, what did they do to be able to reach this level? These are not ordinary companions. You look at the biographies, those about whom it is known. Unfortunately, there are many about whom there is very little detail known. Sa'id bin Abdullah Hanafi, biography says, an elderly person, brave man, worshipper of God. Nafi' bin Hilal Jamali, noble man, brave, reciter of the Quran, scribe. Abis bin Abi Shabib Shakiri, chief of the tribe, brave man, a local speaker, worshipper of God. Worshipper meaning he is known in the community that he is intense and frequent in the worship of God. Suwayd al-Khath'ami, chief of the tribe, noble man, worshipper of God, brave. Hanzala Shabami, elder, speaker, reciter. Burayr Hamdani, Burayr bin Khudayb Hamdani, chief of the tribe, worshipper, reciter. Chief of the tribe meaning each one is a head of a community, a neighborhood in Kufa. Muslim bin Awsaja, noble man, worshipper. Suwayd is an amazing person. Suwayd is alive after the death of Imam alayhi salam, after the martyrdom. Because what happened was he was presumed to be dead. Suwayd bin Amr Khath'ami, he lay wounded, subconscious. Then he heard the Kufans shout, Hussein has been killed. He woke up. The little dagger he had, he started fighting. He could have said, Like the people in Uhud said, the Prophet is gone. What's the use now? It's finished. Let's go back home. He could have said that. Kufan, save me, I made a mistake. No, he wakes up, takes his dagger and fights. And he's killed. These are the companions. And the important thing is, claims are not enough to claim to be a companion. To have a name is not enough also. There were two brothers on opposite side. Ali and Umar. Umar was on the side of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Ali was on the side of Amr ibn Sa'id. Amr ibn Qarda and Sari. Ali, the brother, joins the army of Ibn Ziyad because he was expecting bribery, a lot of money. And Umar, he joins Imam Hussein alayhi salam's camp. And he's the one who is active in negotiations on behalf of Imam Hussein alayhi salam with Umar ibn Sa'd to end this confrontation. On the day of Ashura, this Umar, or Amr, he stands in defense of Imam when the Imam is being attacked in that mass attack, and he takes all the swords and all the spears and protects the Imam. And finally he collapses, he succumbs, but he tells the Imam, was I loyal to my commitment to you? And Imam alayhi salam says, Anta amami fil Jannah. You are preceding, I will join you soon in Jannah. This is Umar, who was on the side of Ali, on the side of Imam Hussein. Ali, his brother, was on the side of Amr ibn Sa'id. He comes in, shamelessly accuses Imam Hussein alayhi salam, you have deceived my brother and taken over him. Imam Hussein alayhi salam says, no, Allah has guided him to see the truth. I haven't deceived him. Ali tells Imam Hussein alayhi salam, قَتَلَنِيَ اللَّهِ إِن لَمْ أَقْتُلَكَ. May God kill me if I don't kill you. Look at the audacity and the shamelessness of Ali against Imam Hussein alayhi salam. And then there is a confrontation, and Nafi' bin Hilal Jamali strikes him, he falls down, the army comes and pulls him back to the army of Ibn Sa'd. He is rendered useless. He goes back to Kufa, he says, I want my money. He says, you are useless to us, no money. For the rest of his life, this Ali, who stood up against Imam Hussein, regretted. To claim I'm a follower, to even take a name of the followers of the Ahlul Bayt or of the Ahlul Bayt is not enough. So what is required? Imam Zainul Abidin alayhi salam was approached by a critic. 35 years of Imamat. You are going for Hajj on foot. 20 times or more he went to Hajj on foot. Not that he couldn't afford a better means of transport. The camel used to be with him, the provisions are there. The camel walks and he walks. It was a sign of humility for the Lord. Takes 1 week by the camel, 3 weeks walk. On one occasion, a critic comes and tells him that you seem to be taking the easy way out. Make jihad in the way of God. Allah will give you success. If no, Allah will give you Jannah. And then he quotes an ayah from the Quran in Surah Tawbah. إِنَّ اللَّهَ اشْتَرَى مِنَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ أَنفُسَهُمْ. Allah wants to make a deal, a business deal with the believers. There will be a purchase, a sale, a product, a payment, and a documentation. 5 things Allah promises. God is ready to buy from the believers the merchandise that they offer. God is ready to buy their wealth if they spend it in the way of God. In fact, even their lives and souls if they give it in the way of God. That's what the merchandise they should give. Allah will buy it, let them sell it, and Allah will pay them. بِأَنَّ لَهُمُ الْجَنَّةِ. And they will get the eternal bliss in paradise. يُقَاتِلُونَ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ فَيَقْتُلُونَ وَيُقْتَلُونَ. But they must be brave to fight against evil, those who stand up against the divine teachings and divine ideals, and they can kill those who are evil, or they may be killed. Either way, they're winners. Wa'dan. This is a documented promise that God makes. Wa'dan. Alayhi haqqan. And God will fulfill. This is a true promise. في التوراة والإنجيل والقرآن. In all the major scriptures that God has sent, this promise has been documented. وَمَنْ أَوْفَى بِعَهْدِهِ مِنَ اللَّهِ. And don't compare God to any other deal maker. You take money and investments, and then one day the bank collapses, the dollar value collapses, and you don't get your returns. They're all wiped out. No, who is more fulfilling in his promise than God? Who has the power to stop God from fulfilling his promise? وَمَنْ أَوْفَى بِعَهْدِهِ مِنَ اللَّهِ فَاسْتَبْشِرُوا بِبَيْعِكُمُ الَّذِي بَايَعْتُمْ بِهِ. So experience the joy of the greatest ever business deal you will make in your life. There is no better deal. ذَلِكَ هُوَ الْفَوْزُ الْعَظِيمُ. That's the supreme triumph. So Imam was challenged. You seem to be taking an easy way out. You're just going for Hajj. This is Jannah. Imam ﷺ says, you have read only one ayah. Can you please read the next ayah? Because this ayah talks about a business deal being made between God and a group of believers. Who are these believers? 9 qualities these believers should have, which the next ayah then describes. Allow me to say, these 9 qualities are the ones which were in the companions of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, whom he's testing on this night, and he finds them to be loyal. You know what the companions say to him? They tell Imam Hussein alayhi salam, you are allowing us to leave? No, we wouldn't like to leave. لِمَا نَفْعَلْ. Why should we prefer to leave you alone? لِنَبْقَ بَعْدَكَ. So that we remain alive after you? لَا أَرَانَ اللَّهُ ذَلِكَ أَبَدًا. May Allah never ever make us see such days in our lives when you are not there. No, we won't go away. We prefer to be with you. No, they went one step ahead. Another companion said, may God curse me if I ever even think of leaving you. قَبَّحَ اللَّهُ الْعَيْشَ بَعْدَكَ. Damned be this life after you, without you. Yet a third companion said, no, never ever. Wallahi la nukhallik. I swear to God, we'll never desert you and abandon you. حتى يعلم الله أن قد حفظنا غيبة رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله. So that the Prophet صلى الله عليه وآله knows our loyalty and commitment to his grandson. Yet another companion said, no, we are ready to live with you and to die with you, even if we have to face the worst possible suffering. What are they going to do? They're going to attack us by stones, by spears, by swords. We're ready to die. No, even if we were to die and be brought back to life, we will fight again with you against the enemy. No, even if we were killed and then our body was burnt, so suffering upon suffering, even after death, and then the ashes were strewn, and then we're brought back to life, we'll do it again. Finally, the ultimate response he got from the companions was, we can never ever contemplate separating from you. Wallahi, لو قتلت ونشرت ألف مرة. If I were to be killed and resurrected, not once or twice, 1,000 times, we will never abandon you. This is extreme loyalty. Question: what motivated these people? Answer: perhaps those 9 qualities mentioned in Surah Tawbah. And this is where we judge ourselves. Where do we stand? Why is there a delay? in the appearance of the Imam Ajjalullahu Fawad. Surah Tawbah, ayah number 112, Allah says, the mu'minun who are being promised with supreme triumph that God will purchase from them this merchandise and pay them Jannah, a promise which can never ever be reneged upon and a promise which can never ever be broken. These mu'minun are at-ta'ibun al-'abidun al-hamidun al-sa'ihun al-raki'un al-sajidun al-amirun bil-ma'rufi وَالنَّاهُونَ عَنِ الْمُنْكَرِ وَالْحَافِظُونَ لِحُدُودِ اللَّهِ وَبَشِّرِ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. These are the 9 qualities. There are those who personally and spiritually develop themselves. There are those who socially reform the society in which they live. There are those who go for the political reformation to build a godly governance of the earth. These are the 3 main characteristic features of these people. So number 1, at-ta'ibun. They're very frequent in tawbah. To make tawbah occasionally, sometimes delayed, half-heartedly, no. Ta'ib. This is a habitual characteristic of their minds and souls. They're constant in the process of tawbah, returning back to their Lord. Closer and closer. So not only do they avoid the major sins, but also minor sins. Not only do they avoid sins, but also the makruh. Not only do they avoid the makruh, but also mubah, which is excessive. Haram, but it's excessive. Not only do they do the wajibat, but also mustahabbat. Not only the mustahabbat, but also the mubah is converted into a mustahab. Or wajib through the process of nazar, for example. These are ta'ibun. Number 2, abidun. They're constantly in the state of ibadah. Not only during salah, but even outside salah. Not only in the masjid, but outside masjid. Be it through the process of salah, or du'a, or dhikr, or istighfar, or giving zakat. Anything which is ibadah, which brings them close to their Lord. Number 3, hamidun. They're constantly thanking their Lord and praising their Lord. Everything they see is a bounty from God. I don't have time, unfortunately, but I would like to remind you the beautiful hamd which Imam alayhi salam makes in dua Arafah. It's amazing. He says that, "O Lord, the shukr and the hamd that I wish to do, I want to offer you my thanks and my praise through my eyes and my forehead and my nose." And he describes anatomically the main features of these parts of the body. And my ear canal, and my lips, and my tongue, and my jaw, and my teeth, and my throat, and my spine, and my neck veins, and my chest, and my blood vessels, and my heart, and my liver, and my ribs, and my joints, and my toes, and my flesh, and my blood, and my skin, and my hair, and my nerves, and my bones, and my brain, right from the outermost part of my body to my innermost, to the core of my being, to the totality of my being. No, be it during my sleep, be it during my wakeful moments, be it in my ruku or be it in my sajda. Oh Lord, if I were to try to thank you even for one ni'mah that you've granted me, I would fail, because even for that gratitude act, I receive some grace from you. Because your ni'mah is uncountable. Hamidun. These are people who are constantly in the state of hamd and praise and thanks to their Lord. Sa'ihun. Sa'ih, in Arabic, the tourist department is known as siyaha. Sa'ih is a traveler. So they're traveling in the land. But if they're being praised, that means they're traveling for good reasons. To do ibadah of their Lord, to acquire, let's say, some knowledge or something good, to do something good for the sake of God, or no, to go for serving God in another area. Another tafsir says, no, sa'ihun means they're fasting regularly. Spiritually, they're traveling. Spiritually, They keep on moving from one area to another, be it from home to the workplace, to any other public space, with the family, with the friends, with the community. In any area of life, they keep on moving in a state of ibadah and to serve their Lord. As-sa'ihun, ar-raki'un. They prolong their ruku'. Ruku' is an expression of the awareness of the worshipper of the greatness of his Lord. Imam Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salam in the khutbah where he describes the pious muttaqeen, he says, عظم الخالق في أعينهم فصغر ما دونه. The Lord is majestic. He has impressed them in their hearts. With the core of their being, they feel the presence of the majestic Lord. And therefore, everything else in the dunya, be it the greatest power in the dunya, everything else in the dunya is insignificant in their eyes. And therefore they bow down in ruku'. And beyond ruku', of course, as-sajidun. They are constant, regular, frequent in the state of sajda. Sajda is a state whereby the individual has been totally cut off from everything outside. He literally curves and curls down on himself. That means I have cut off myself from everything outside. And I'm devoting and focusing exclusively to my Lord in the best manner possible, which is the lowest position. Imam Zayn al-Abidin alayhi salam in the dua says, "Oh Lord, here I am before you, and I am aqallul aqallin wa adhallul adhallin. I'm the humble, no, the most humble of all the humble. No, I'm the lower. No, I'm the lowest of all the low. No, awduna dhalik. Even if there is something lower than that, I'm in that position. If I could go even beyond the earth to bow down before you, I would do that in the state of sajda." That state of supreme obedience, submission, lowliness before God is expressed through the process of sajda. Al-amiruna bil-ma'ruf wal-nahuna 'anil munkar. They strive regularly to ensure that socially, in the community, in the family, in society, whatever is virtue is established. So, if people don't know, they try to educate them. If people forget what is good, they try to remind them. If people need to be explained, to be argued, to be discussed, they do all that is necessary to ensure that whatever is good is done. Whatever is evil, munkar, they strive. Some people don't know what's munkar. They need to be educated. Some people know, but they forget. Some people know and don't forget, but they have an excuse. All right, so explain to them where they can practice without this excuse. There are those who know and they haven't forgotten their duty and they have no excuse. And it wasn't an incident where they were overwhelmed with lust or passion or anger, and that's why they committed the sins. They're doing it habitually and frequently and regularly. No, these people have to be prohibited. They have to be restrained. And the restraint has to take place in all manners possible to ensure that that evil is removed. So this is social reformation by promotion of virtue and by prohibition of evil and vice. And finally, the political dimension. وَالْحَافِظُونَ لِحُدُودِ اللَّهِ. Allah has set up laws that govern our business life, economic, cultural life, property, the sanctity of human life, to enable this type of laws to be executed. You need the righteous government. So, and these are the ones who wrote that letter to Imam alayhi salam. Come over. We are ready to support you to establish the divine government. Allah give us tawfiq to be able to follow the example of the companions of Karbala. Ya laytana kunna ma'ahum فنفوز فوزا عظيما. Tonight we commemorate in the tragedy of Karbala one of the outstanding sacrifices that was done. After the martyrdom of the companions and after the martyrdom of all the Bani Hashim, Imam alayhi salam comes out to make his final call. Is there anybody now who can be saved? هل من ذاب يضب عن حرم رسول الله? Amongst these people of Kufa, is there nobody here to defend the innocent, victimized family of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? هل من موحد يخاف الله فينا? Is there no one amongst you who is truly a Muslim who fears God from this atrocious crime that you wish to commit? هل من مغيث يرجو الله في إغاثتنا? Is there anyone, supporter, who can give any sort of help to us who are pleading and crying for support and help? When they hear this cry of the Imam, the ladies in the tent begin to weep and cry. Imam alayhi salam comes back to the tent and he says, Nawiluni Aliyya. Give me Ali Asghar to me. And hatta uddi'ah. I want to spend the last moments bidding him farewell before I go to the battlefield. Imam alayhi salam takes the young Ali Asghar to the battlefield. He brings him in front of the enemies. In front of the enemies, he kisses the young boy. And he says, وَيْلٌ لِهَؤُلَاءِ الْقَوْمِ إِذَا كَانَ خَصْمُهُمْ جَدُّكَ. Tomorrow on the day of judgment, woe be to these Muslims if their opponent will be the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, your grandfather or Ali Asghar. Ya qawm, qad qatamtum shi'ati. This army, you have killed my loyal followers. Wa ahla bayti, and you have killed the Bani Hashim. وَقَدْ بَقِيَ هَذَا الطِّفْلُ. Only this young infant remains now. يَتَلَظَّى عَطْشًا. Look at him. He is squirming and agitating, just like a fish out of water because of his intense thirst. فَاسْقُوهُ شَرْبَةً مِنَ الْمَاءِ. Forget me. Show some mercy to this innocent little young boy. There was no need for Imam alayhi salam to bring the young boy, the young infant, 6 months, because obviously he's not going to fight. But the reason Imam alayhi salam brings him forth is perhaps to awaken the conscience of the enemy. Do you have any sense of compassion, any sense of mercy? Here is an innocent boy. Remember, Imam alayhi salam, when he encountered the army of Hur, which came from Kufa to intercept, Imam alayhi salam offered water to every one of them. There is one soldier who was a bit late to arrive. And he said, I arrived and there was nobody giving me water. And Imam noticed him, so Imam personally goes and gives him water. Plentiful water. He was pouring water and the man didn't know how to receive. So he says, Imam told me something I couldn't understand. So then Imam explained and personally opened the water bottle so that I could drink properly. To that extent, Imam offered them water. And now he's bringing his young boy. Do you think this soldier was not there? Or change sides. But what about this soldier? Didn't he have a conscience? Perhaps one reason why Imam alayhi salam brought this young boy is to expose their brutality and their ruthlessness and their mercilessness. Ya qawmi lam tarhamuni farhamu hadha al-tifl. If you have no mercy on me, then show mercy on this young infant. Or perhaps he brought him here to offer his final sacrifice. It seems there was some effect on the army. Umar ibn Sa'd orders Harmala bin Kahil al-Asadi. Harmala, you are an accurate marksman. Shoot this soldier of Imam. Harmala takes his 3-pronged arrow and points to Ali Asghar and he shoots. Obviously, the arrow comes and literally butchers and slaughters this young neck. Imam alayhi salam collects the little blood that flows, and he lifts that blood up and he does something very dramatic, something that had not been done before with any other blood. He says, Allahumma in habasta anna al-nasr faj'al dhalika lima huwa khayrun lana. And he literally throws that small amount of blood up to the sky. Strange behavior. It has not been done before. But more stranger is what Imam Baqir alayhi salam says, فَلَمْ يَسْقُطْ مِنْ ذَلِكَ الدَّمْ قَطْرَةً. Not even one drop came down back from the sky to the earth. Why? I don't know. Did the spiritual world, the angels receive that blood? Why? I don't know. This innocent blood, were it to come down on the earth, the punishment of God would come down. You know, in Surah Takwir, Allah says, إِذَا الشَّمْسُ كُوِّرَتْ وَإِذَا النُّجُومُ انْكَدَرَتْ وَإِذَا الْجِبَالُ سُيِّرَتْ وَإِذَا الْعِشَارُ عُطِّلَتْ وَإِذَا الْوُحُوشُ حُشِرَتْ وَإِذَا الْبِحَارُ سُجِّرَتْ وَإِذَا النُّفُوسُ زُوِّجَتْ. When the day of judgment comes, the sun, the stars, the mountains, everything which is solid, which keeps the universe running, will collapse. The first oppressed victim for whom justice will be taken is that innocent child who was killed. Which innocent child is more a victim than Ali Asghar? Was it because the punishment of God should not come down, that not a single drop fell to the ground? Was it that the rest of the universe was weeping for Ali Asghar? Ali Asghar is going back to the tent. All the bodies are brought back to the tent, but they're not buried, except for the body of Hazrat Abbas. It is left out in the battlefield. But the body of Ali Asghar, Imam alayhi salam deliberately digs a small grave and he buries that body. I don't know why. Nobody else's body was buried. Was it because he had foreseen that these brutal beasts who claim to be Muslims, these inhumane non-humans will come and like animals trample even the body of this young boy? Let me hide this boy under the earth. No, these people will come and behead the soldiers. I want his body to be protected. Imam alayhi salam says this musibah is unbearable. It is said that Imam alayhi salam cries, هَوَّنَ عَلَيَّ مَا نَزَلَ بِأَنَّهُ بِعَيْنِ اللَّهِ. The sun, the moon, the stars, the mountains should shake at the atrocity that is being committed. But I rely on God. God is watching. God is the judge. God is going to avenge. Amazing. Hussein alayhi salam, who is a strong, determined, enduring, persevering man of sabr. It is said that at this time when he is burying Ali Asghar, he hears a voice which says, "Da'hu ya Hussein, فَإِنَّ لَهُ مُرْضِعًا فِي الْجَنَّةِ." He will be taken care of, O Hussein, in Jannah. It is said the Holy Prophet ﷺ also had a small baby, Ibrahim, the son from his wife Maria Qibtiyya. He falls sick and he's on his deathbed. The Prophet ﷺ comes to visit Ibrahim. And Ibrahim, as he's dying, the Prophet weeps. The Prophet says, I accept God's decree, but you are a dear son to me, and therefore I weep. And I expect reward from God for this weeping. But the Prophet never had a son, Ibrahim, who was thirsty. He never had a son who had to face an extremely hot day. He never had a son who his hands was butchered and slaughtered. He didn't have a son who was restless like a fish out of water. You know, there was another thirsty young boy in history, and that was Ismail, the son of Hajar. You know what Hajar did? In order to bring water for Ismail, she ran 7 times between Safa and Marwa looking for water. Ultimately, God gives water, But what do you think the mother of Ali Asghar would have been doing, Rabab? Don't you think Rabab also must have been running from one tent to the other, from one person to the other, looking for water for her young son? But the only consolation we have is, in as much as Ali Akbar alayhi salam was given the goblet from the Kawthar, so also Ali Asghar, when you're taken care of by the heavenly Huris. There's a Persian poet who says, ظاهرا از تشنگی بیتاب بود باطنا سرچشمه هر آب بود. Ali Asghar was restless like a fish out of water, very thirsty. That's the apparent. But the hidden message of Ali Asghar's death is that through his death now, everybody else's thirst will be quenched ultimately. Everyone will realize the moment you abandon the godly leader, you can stoop down in your beastly animality so much that you'll be ready to kill even the most innocent of all the innocents. Assalamu ala al-Husayn wa ala Ali ibn Husayn wa ala al-Husayn wa ala ashab al-Husayn.